A win this weekend would not be good for the Tennessee Titans draft pick. But you know what? I want to see Cam Ward get a victory, and I think the draft pick will be just fine. That and more on today's edition of Locked On Titans.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. On today's show, we are going to preview the Tennessee Titans game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to tell you why I think the Tennessee Titans can pull an upset, and while some may think that's bad, I actually think it's a good thing, and the draft pick would be just fine. Also, I'll talk about my keys to victory in this game, what it's going to take for the Tennessee Titans to get a victory, and then we'll talk about my players to watch, and I think that J.C. Latham has a big-time game ahead of him here. I'll give you my game, score, fantasy, gambling, predictions, all of that. Before we dive in, do want to thank you for making Locked On Titans your first listen, and thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. You're not going to beat that anywhere else. Make sure you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day. Speaking of every day, shout out to my everydayers out there tuning in Monday through Friday. Couldn't do it without you guys. If you aren't an everydayer, now is the perfect time to be one. I'm going to be live immediately after the game on Sunday to break down everything that happened. And of course, we got a coaching search. We got free agency, the draft, all ahead of us here. You want to stay up to date. Make sure you're locked in with the Locked On Titans podcast. But with that being said, again, winning this game would be bad for the Tennessee Titans' potential draft pick. No doubt about it. And as we've talked about, the Tennessee Titans have the strongest strength of schedule in the entire NFL. And strength of schedule is the #1 tiebreaker for draft picks. So basically, if the Titans are tied with any teams in terms of the amount of wins they have at the end of the year, the Titans are going to draft after those teams. It's not going to change between now and the end of the season. It's not even close. The Titans have the hardest strength of schedule in the entire NFL. So make no mistake, a win this week would be bad for the Titans. It would put them up to 2 wins, which a bunch of teams, like 5, 6 other teams have, and they would immediately drop from the 1st pick to the 7th pick. But you know what? I don't care. You know what? I don't care. I want the Tennessee Titans to win this game if they can. Now, if they lose, I'm not going to be mad. The draft pick is intact. We ride. I'm not going to be mad if they lose, especially to a better team. But I'm not going to be mad if they win. I refuse to be mad watching Cam Ward win football games. Here's the thing, and here's the thing that makes me feel that way. #1, this isn't like previous years. This isn't like last year where we all collectively knew by this time of the season, all right, Will Levis ain't the guy. Titans probably taking a quarterback #1 in the draft, top of the draft. Will Levis ain't the guy. There is no, hey, we need to see Will Levis get some momentum and build with his teammates and get some confidence and experience some success as we build his career going forward. That was already out the window by this time last year. The year before that was the same thing. Okay, maybe Will Levis is the guy going forward, but this team is in such disarray, and most of these guys on the team are not going to be here next year. Derrick Henry, for example. They're not building anything forward. They need the draft pick. And you could still listen, they still need the draft pick. I am not saying that they don't. But what I'm saying is I think that at some point in time we have gotten to a point here where balancing Cam Ward's trajectory and success and confidence and momentum and all of that becomes more important than it has ever been in the last couple of years for Titans teams at this time of the year. So, for that reason, I would like to see Cam Ward build some momentum. I would like to see Cam Ward do well. I would like to see Cam Ward taste success. I would like to see Cam Ward taste a victory. I would like to see all the other young players that would contribute to that. And this isn't going to be like the Houston game where Cam Ward plays absolutely terrible for most of the game and, they find a way to come back and win and blah, blah, blah. Like, Jacksonville's a better offense than Houston. They're going to score some points. Cam Ward's going to have to play well in this game and probably outplay Trevor Lawrence, which is what we're going to talk about here in a second. So the route to a victory in this game would require a good performance from Cam Ward, and that's exactly what we want to see. Cam Ward played so well that the Titans won and upset the Jags. How am I going to be mad about that after the game? I'm not. And here's the other side of it that makes me feel okay with rooting for the win. And I know some of you are screaming right now, what do you mean? You should root for your team to win all the time. Listen, it's obviously more complicated than that. But if that's your approach, I'm not mad at you about it. But the other thing here is I think that 2 wins, if the Titans win this game against Jacksonville, it's their second win of the year. I think 2 wins is still enough to get the first overall pick. I think the Titans can still get the number 1 overall pick with 2 wins. The problem is they play the Browns after that. I think they're going to lose in Cleveland. Myles Garrett is going to destroy this team. The Browns' defense is incredible. But then they play the Saints at home in Week 17, and I do not think that they lose that game. So if they get 3 wins like they had last year, they're not going to get the number 1 overall pick. But here's the thing. Again, 2 wins, I think they have a great chance to still get the number 1 overall pick because as we talked about earlier this week, a bunch of these teams play each other. Like the Browns and the Titans play and the Saints and the Titans play. Well, the Jets and the Raiders and the Giants and the Browns again and the Saints play one of those teams. Like all of those bad teams for the most part play each other at least once or twice. So through that kind of swerve of, hey, the Giants beat the Raiders and then the Saints beat the Jets, and then the Jets and they could all beat each other a little bit. All it would take is for them to get 1 more win. I'm not worried about the Commanders. I think the Commanders will certainly have opportunities. But even this week, and I'm trying to make sure I get the matchup correct, but even this week, there is a game where you have teams with similar wins to the Titans who are playing each other. That's already a thing. You know what I mean? So that kind of cannibalization of the bad teams, I think, gives the Titans a great opportunity to still have the pick that they want. You know what I mean? Like they can win a game. And I said this a couple of weeks ago when we talked about kind of the expectations for teams going forward. Okay? And I'm just saying, I think that winning these games, the Titans can win a couple of games, and it'll still give them an opportunity to get the number. Like New Orleans and Miami play this week. That's the game I was looking for. That's a great opportunity. Great opportunity for New Orleans to win a football game. So, and New England playing the New York Giants, and they're missing their left tackle. The Giants have a good front 4. Maybe there's a chance there. Like, there is carryover between these. And I think that gives the Titans an opportunity to win some games and still get the number 1 overall pick. But we get to 3 wins. I think the Titans are not getting the number 1 overall pick. 2 wins, I think we'll do it. And that means that the Titans can beat the Jags at home. All right? And then we just got to watch that Saints game and be like, oh, boy. Worried about that one. But with that being said, again, I'm okay with the Titans winning. How can they win this game? Well, first and foremost, more important than anything else, it starts with stopping the run. Do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of a game, you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when it's your team making that late push. And hey, if you're like me and you happen to be a Lakers fan, every game is exciting already. You can make it even more exciting with a little bit of action on FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Again, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Titans fans, let's continue today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast, getting you guys ready to go for the Tennessee Titans matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, it was Thanksgiving yesterday. Hope you guys all had a happy Thanksgiving. I spent it with family, friends, and football. It was absolutely fantastic, and I hope yours was good as well. But we move forward here into my keys to victory for this game for the Titans, and number one on the list, if the Tennessee Titans want to win this game, and let me know your keys to victory down below, or on Twitter at TicTacTitans. Stop the run. That is all that matters. Stop the run. If the Titans are not able to stop the run game of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they will lose. They are cooked. And by God, Jacksonville can run it. 192 rushing yards 2 weeks ago. 134 rushing yards this week. All right? They can run it. But look a little closer at some of their totals in some of these games, and you'll start to see the pattern. In their losses this year, there are 4 losses: 139, 59, 94, 94. In their wins, 200, 86, 151, 109, 151, 192, 134. That's 96.5 yards they average in the run game in their losses. 46.5 they average in their wins. A 50-yard difference between their wins and their losses. If you keep Jacksonville under 100 rushing yards and you force Trevor Lawrence to beat you, you have a great opportunity to beat this team. Now, the question becomes, can the Titans stop the run? Gonna be tough. You look last week against Seattle, though, it was hit or miss at times. I thought they did an okay job bottling up Ken Walker, but there were a couple of times where he just had wide open lanes. And Seattle was able to run for 114 yards on 5.7 yards per carry. That's simply not going to be good enough run defense for the Tennessee Titans. They have not been good enough against the run. And if you want to talk about, hey, the Titans are going to lose this game, that's really where the crux of it is if Jacksonville holds the ball and runs and has the ball all the time because they're just running it down the Titans' throat, they're going to get a ton of easy scoring opportunities. You're never going to put Trevor Lawrence in a bind and put him under pressure. And the Titans are going to be able to get the ball back, and it doesn't matter what Cam Ward does. So the Titans have to stop the run. They cannot let this Jacksonville Jaguars team run all over them, or they will lose, and they will lose bad. The second part of that is, like I was just saying, if you stop the run, then you put Trevor Lawrence in a position to beat you. And this year, Trevor Lawrence has not been great. He has not been a great player. And I think this is the year finally where people are like, okay, Trevor Lawrence is who Trevor Lawrence is. He is not a guy who's going to elevate his teammates. He's not one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL that people thought he could be. He's just a good, average, game-managing quarterback that will be as good as the surrounding cast around him and as bad as the surrounding cast around him. And quite frankly, this year, I think he's been worse than what the supporting cast around him would represent. The Jacksonville Jaguars have had a very good offensive line this year. They've had a very good run game. They have constantly stacked their skill position players, whether it be Brian Thomas Jr. and then adding Travis Hunter and then signing Diami Brown. And then you have Parker Washington already, who's a pretty good player. And then they go out and they trade for Jacoby Myers. And They add Tim Patrick. Like, they are just continuing to do everything they can to stop the skill position players around Trevor Lawrence. And despite having a pretty good defense and a pretty good O-line and a great run game and good weapons, Lawrence has just been And 11 interceptions on the year, 5 fumbles on the year. This guy is a turnover machine. He's a turnover machine. And if Trevor Lawrence turns into turnover Trevor, the Titans stop the run. Trevor Lawrence is in 3rd and long situations. You're able to put a little bit of pressure on him. You make him make mistakes. He gives you the football. You stop Jacksonville Jaguars drives, and you give yourself a shorter distance. Turnovers are going to be the key for the Titans basically every single week if they want to get a win, because they're not better than these teams they're playing, and they need a little bit of help, and the turnovers are going to be there. But why I'm so optimistic, pessimistic, that the Titans could get an upset in this game is because it isn't just about, hey, the Titans have to force turnovers. It's, hey, this team will give you turnovers. Jacksonville will give you turnovers. Now, their defense is really good at creating turnovers as well and getting pressure and stopping the run. Their defense is really good. That's why I don't have run the football. The Titans need to run the ball. They can't. They can't. It is a skill issue. They are not good enough. The offensive coordination is not good enough for a proper run game. I think Cam Ward is struggling to get the Titans into the right run plays against the certain looks that he's getting on defense. He's a rookie quarterback. So the Titans aren't going to be able to run the ball. They're not going to be able to run the ball, period. So if that's the case, you got to get turnovers. You got to make sure that Jacksonville gives you short field opportunities. And then, again, it's all first full circle here. You have to stop the run so that Trevor Lawrence will give you turnovers, and you're not going to be able to run the ball, so you need a little bit of Cam Ward magic. What we saw at the end of the Cardinals game, what we saw at the end of the Houston game, what we saw pretty much all game last week, Cam Ward magic. He's got to get out of the pocket and make plays. He's got to use his legs to pick up first downs. He's got to, throw diving sidearm throws back to the middle of the field and get first downs. He has to be magical. He just has to be incredible. There's no other way around it. That's what it is. That's what they have to do. That's what they have to hope for. Period. And we've seen it in recent weeks that he's been getting better, but he's got a huge test in front of him here schematically. All right? Cam Ward has been better against zone coverage than he has been against man coverage. Man coverage has been a bit of a struggle, but I think that goes back to the Titans wide receiver group not being great separators, getting open against man coverage. But he was better against man coverage last week against the Seahawks. That's a fact. The Seahawks played a ton of man last week, and he was pretty good. But Jacksonville is one of the heaviest zone teams in the entire NFL, and they run a ton of cover 3 zone. 31% of the time, they run cover 3 zone on defense. And Cam Ward has been as efficient as he has against any schematic look this year against cover 3. 67% completion percentage. That's his best against any coverage look other than cover 2 man, and he's 1 for 1 against cover 2 man. So it feels kind of dumb to act like cover 3 isn't his best coverage when it comes to completion percentage. 80.2 passer rating against cover 3. That's his highest passer rating against any specific coverage. I think Jacksonville is very defined in what they do, and I think Cam Ward has seen those looks enough this year that he will be ready. He will be ready to pick apart the cover 3 for the Titans. Or the cover 3 for the Jags. I truly do believe that. So I think Cam Ward is in a great spot to be magical this week, to keep his momentum going, and it will be necessary for the Tennessee Titans to get a victory. But with that being said, we got to talk about my players to watch in this game. Also, going to give you my game and score fantasy gambling predictions as well. Titans fans, let's cap off today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. We talked about why I'm okay if the Tennessee Titans pull the upset. I know that it hurts their draft pick, but I think they're in a position where they can win another game and still get the number 1 overall pick and have all the potential and possibilities in the world. We talked about my keys to victory in this game: stopping the run, turnover Trevor Lawrence, and Cam Ward magic. They just need Cam Ward to be better than Trevor Lawrence, and they need to shut down the run game of the Jags, and they'll have a great opportunity to win this game. Now I want to talk about my players to watch, and quite honestly, you go on the defensive side of the ball, it's all about stopping the run. So I don't really have a player to watch on defense. It's going to take a collective unit in the front seven and with the slot cornerbacks and the safeties. Run defense is a full unit. So my player to watch on defense is anybody involved in run defense, because it's literally that simple. They have to stop the run. They have absolutely no choice. It's absolutely necessary that they stop the run. So I don't have players to watch on defense, but on the offensive side of the ball, I certainly do. Okay, and J.C. Latham is one of the primary ones. They have to have a good game, and I'll explain why before I do. Thanks again for making Locked On Titans your first to listen. Thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the number 1 sports podcast network. But my number 1 player to watch on offense is Tyjae Spears. So we had Mia O'Brien, who covers the Jacksonville Jaguars for the Locked On Podcast Network Jacksonville Squad Show, also does other work in the market as well. But Mia made it very clear that Jacksonville struggles with the flats. A tight end in the flat, a running back in the flat, make a man miss, get upfield, do all that. Jacksonville struggles there. Something Mia was very upfront about and showed a lot of concern about as well. Well, Tyjae Spears is super electric. And if Cam Ward can dump the ball off, get it to Tyjae Spears, and he can make a guy miss. Jacksonville is in the top third of the NFL in missed tackles. They have 69 missed tackles on the year, top third. So if you're Tyjae Spears and you get the ball out of the backfield in the flats, you can make a guy miss a tackle and get upfield and make things happen. I think that would be super helpful to Cam Ward to get the ball out of his hands quick and create some explosive plays. And again, I just told you, Jacksonville runs a ton of cover 3. And in cover 3, you do not have a flat defender. You have a curl flat defender because your outside cornerbacks have deep responsibility. They have deep thirds. And then your safety, maybe your slot corner, maybe a weak side linebacker in your slot corner, however teams want to do that. They have curl flats where they have the flat, but they have to have some depth and be back because they're basically responsible for everything from the short to intermediate area on the sidelines. Well, that is where the advantage is created. That is where the extra space is created. It's not like you have a hard flat defender like you're in a cover 2. And if the Jags do want to play their curl flat guy as a hard flat up at the line of scrimmage, then the Titans are going to have a ton of success with 3-level concepts that they like to do already, where you have a short guy, a medium guy, and a long guy on the sideline attacking a zone. Well, then you're going to have a guy all the way up in the flat dealing with the flat. Your deep third cornerback has to go back with the vertical threat, and that means that Gunnar Helm, Chim DK are going to be wide open in the intermediate route on the sideline. So I think that Tyjae Spears early on, getting him out in the flat, getting the ball out to that area, I think that gives the Titans a great opportunity to bend the Jags defense and then create more bigger plays down the field. But it starts with Tyjae Spears being explosive and breaking tackles in the flats. And I think that can happen. So he's my number 1 player to watch in this game. My number 2 player to watch is Alec Iomanor for a similar reason. When you run cover 3, you basically have a one-on-one matchup with a wide receiver on the outside. Now, Iomanor missed last week. He was banged up. He didn't play. So, will he play this week? I made him a player to watch, but we aren't 100% certain at this moment in time. We are not 100% certain. I think that he has a good chance to be back. I think there is a chance that not only could he be back, but he could have a big game because of that one-on-one matchup on the sideline. We know that Alec Manor is a big physical player. We know that he has the ability to win jump balls and contested catches and situations like that, and that's exactly what he's going to have to do when he gets one-on-one matchups against the Jags cornerbacks. All right, the Jags have Montaric Brown and Christian Braswell as their outside cornerbacks right now. Alec Manor should have an opportunity to win those matchups. Like that, those should be chances for Alec Manor to win one-on-one. So if you hit Tajay Spears in the flats, Alec Manor wins some matchups on the sideline in one-on-one situations, you're going to have a great chance to win. And then finally, as I teased, J.C. Latham. So we know that the Jags have a good edge rush. They have Josh Hines-Allen. They have Travon Walker. Travon Walker has been banged up this year. He might not play in this game. Whether he plays or not, this is a big game for J.C. Latham because Josh Hines-Allen plays on the right side of the defense, which would be the left side of the offense, which means Josh Hines-Allen is going up against the left tackle. Okay? And I expect the Titans to send a ton of chip help to Oli Udoh if he plays and Dan Moore doesn't. A ton of help. And that means that if the Titans are helping the left tackle a ton, then the right tackle has to be on an island. The right tackle has to find a way to win consistently and not need as much help as the left tackle will. And then when you look at the players who could be playing that other edge spot if Travon Walker doesn't play. Dennis Gardeck, an underrated player. I like Dennis Gardeck. Danny Strigo. B.J. Johnson. I'm sorry, but if J.C. Latham cannot hold it down so that the Titans can help the left tackle against Josh Hines-Allen, going against Dennis Gardeck, Danny Strigo, and B.J. Johnson, then the conversation continues about his struggles, man. Like, that is, J.C. Latham should absolutely 100% be able to lock down Dennis Gardeck, Danny Strigo, and B.J. Johnson so that the Titans can send chip help with a running back and a tight end over to Oli Udoh or Dan Moore on the left side to deal with Josh Hines-Allen. It should be that simple. So J.C. Latham better come to play. Now, to finish with my predictions here. Number one, my game and score prediction. I am going to have Jacksonville winning this game late, 24-20. I think the Titans keep it close, and I think that there is a great chance that the Titans win this game. But I am going to roll with Jacksonville winning tight. They've won some tight games this year. They're a better team than the Titans, and I think some of these things like stopping the run, just not going to happen as well as they need to for the Titans. So I got Jacksonville winning 24-20. Let me know your score predictions on Twitter at TicTacTitans or down below in the comments on YouTube. My beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy player of the game is Tajay Spears. I already explained to you guys. I think he's going to be open for dump-offs in the flat. Jacksonville has a tendency to miss some tackles. I think he can break some guys' ankles and make big plays. And Tajay always has some big explosive plays against Jacksonville. It's just the reality. You know what I mean? And then my gambling picks for the week and keeping it plus 100. Right now, the Titans are plus 6.5. Underdogs at home. Spread, or the over-under, is 41.5. You guys know that I hate an over-under, but I'm taking the over. I think even if the Titans win, even if the Titans lose, this game goes over 41.5 and plus 6.5. I have the Titans losing by 4. So that means I do think the Titans cover in this game. But going to be very interesting. I'm very okay with either outcome, the win or the loss for the Titans. I want to see the Titans play well enough to get some wins and see Cam Ward play that well. I think they can get one more win and not ruin the draft pick opportunities. But if they lose, then, things just continue business as usual. But with that being said, that is going to do it for me today, folks. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.